Welcome to episode 1 of Titan Talk. Today I'm joined by my co-host Michael Wu. Michael, how are you?
Hello everyone, I'm doing quite well.
Good to hear, man. Good to hear. So today, wanted to kind of talk mostly about you, have the viewers get to understand you, who you are, what you're about, how you got started in powerlifting. And then wanted to talk a little about kind of like how we met, Titan origin, kind of our goals, where we are, what we do, what we're about. So start us off. What got you into lifting, man? Tell us a bit about your story and who you are and what you do.
Alrighty, well, for everyone who doesn't know, my name is Michael. I'm a powerlifting coach and a personal trainer. I've been doing this for, I think, with Titan for 2 years. Obviously, been very lucky to, join Lewis and the team. Now the team's growing a lot bigger as well with Lockie. I'm sure you'll have Lockie on next week. And then we've got some mentees with us, so doing a lot of exciting things going into 2025 as well. But I guess as a bit of a intro, so I myself got into lifting in 2016. So I think I joined my first commercial gym at the start of 2016 or at the end of 2015. Back when I was maybe 14, 15 years old, I was kind of just getting into working out, but I was back in Thailand. I was in probably year 8, year 9. And I started off doing fucking Mike Chang, 6-pack shortcuts type shit on YouTube. Lewis, swearing is okay, right? Little bit. Okay, I'll keep it PG-13. So started off just working out in my bedroom, just at home. The apartment we lived in had a gym downstairs. I'd say I started younger than most other people, in my year. Now, kids nowadays are starting when they're 13. Some juniors nowadays are crazy, but I don't know. I felt like back in 2013, at least in Thailand, it was not a thing for us. People just did sports, and I wasn't really that great at sports at all. Didn't really play anything at a high level, so I'm not really inclined athletically, I'd say. Couldn't catch a ball, right? If you threw a ball at me, I didn't know what to do with it.
Me too.
Super unco. So, I started working out because, I was quite small. I was quite skinny, and all the other kids were a lot more athletic than me. So, coming to Australia, I think that was another thing as well. I moved here in year 10, and obviously, joining high school quite late, I was a bit scared, coming from Thailand. I didn't really have any friends, didn't really know what to do. So after school, I just that was a big fault, right? After school, I was like, all right, I'll just train, I guess. Started in my garage with 2 other friends, and we just did push-ups. I don't want to show you what those push-ups look like, but keep in mind, okay, I was 15, 14, and in my mind, me and my mates, we were we can do 300. 300 push-ups, Lewis. Imagine what they look like.
In one day?
In one set.
No, bro, no way.
You want me to?
No way. Half reps.
Does this look at the floor? No, you can't see the floor. I can't show you what it looks like. It's not even half reps. Bro.
Another time. You know what? Maybe we'll clip it in.
It was basically the equivalent of a bench unrack.
Oh.
Those are my push-ups, right? But it was good memories. We did that. My dad actually bought me a home gym, but not like an actual, nice, what I would use nowadays is one of those combo chest press, leg extension, all-in-one type shit.
I remember that.
So we had one of those, and I kind of outgrew it, I think, after 8 months. So that's when I joined my first gym, which was Snap Fitness, and then just kind of went from there. That's a long origin story, bro. I'm sorry.
No, man. This is the place to do it, man.
This is good.
I actually forgot that you came here in year 10.
Year 10. 10 and a
Dude,
half. Halfway through year 10.
That was not long ago.
That's 10 years. Yeah, it's about 10 years ago.
Yeah, but all right, maybe we're getting old. But I don't know. I felt that's in terms of being in the country, that's not.
Yeah.
I've been here all my life.
Yeah, so it was a big move, right?
Yeah.
It was a scary move, I suppose.
Friends, you got to restart.
Yeah. And I think that's why, in high school, right now, I'd say socially, I'm pretty, I get along with people. I can talk to people quite well. I'm quite a social person. But in year 10, I was a completely different person. I talked to a maximum of 2 people in high school.
Wow.
And this is over the 2 years I had in high school, two is an exaggeration, maybe like spoke to like 5 to 10 people. And that's it. Well. That's it. So I think gym was where I built a lot of my confidence, kind of got out of my bubble a little bit, got a lot better out of high school as well. But yeah, so 2016 in a commercial gym, I dabbled in some weightlifting. I think that was 2017. That was like for 6 months. And that was really fun. A lot of my motivations around these times were just YouTube videos, I suppose. But yeah.
Nice,
Does that kind of answer your question?
Should I
keep going? Or?
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's a great way to start.
Yeah.
So what got you into powerlifting? So you mentioned weightlifting.
Yep.
Tell us how you started powerlifting.
Yep, perfect. So I think a lot of my motivation back then was just on YouTube videos, and I'm sure you're probably the same. I'm guessing. Like, I watched a hell of a lot of David Lade.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, this guy's cool, right?
Yeah.
He's strong, he's sexy. Like, I was like, shit, I want to be like that. I actually followed his program for a while. It was a lot, right? He had like push-pull legs, like 6 days a week, and the secondary would be like crazy volume as well. And so I did that for a while, and I think that was good. I think when you're young, you're a bit more naive, a bit dumber. Like you don't really care too much about but this, but that, and you see the work and you're like, oh, I'm keen, let's do it. And I think a lot of people kind of start like that as well. Like it's a bit of a rite of passage, and then obviously as they get older, they mature and learn how to train a bit smarter, because you can't be doing the same stuff you're doing.
Very individuals or how you respond.
Yeah. But I mean, I was doing like, 4x8 and then like a 5x10 on like, 1 week, like one's a primary, one's a secondary.
Yeah, well.
Then there's a bunch of accessories after. Like I remember doing like, 3-4 sets of like 20 plus on leg press. That was like super, super fun.
Yeah.
Did stuff like that. Did a lot of program hopping. From memory, like the programs I ran back then, like again, the David Lade kind of template, a lot of Candido 6 week. I think I hopped on like Larry Wheels' program at one point.
No.
I didn't like that. I did not like that.
You need to be blasting to be on that one.
It wasn't even a sheet, bro. It was just terrible.
No, fucking
the way it was laid out. It was
3x10.
Yeah, everything. It was just like a A4 piece of paper, and it just had cells, and you had to.
Oh my god.
So it was not that great. So yeah, I went through all this stuff. Basically, a lot of fitness YouTuber programs and stuff. That's how, and obviously all of those were SBD based. That's how I kind of found out about powerlifting. But back then, I did not know like the comps were a thing. I didn't know powerlifting comps were a thing. I just thought, okay, you do squat, bench, deadlift, you get strong, you max out, right? And in my mind, I was like, okay, it's a compound movement. This is the best way to build muscle. Back then, for me, it's like, okay, I still just want to get bigger. I was a 55 kilo, right, like lifter. I'm the same height back then as I am now. And, I started training at like 53, 55 kilos. So back then was just about getting bigger, putting on size. It still is. I'm still
it always is. But when you're a young lifter, that should be the goal. Just get bigger.
Yeah, exactly. So it was a lot of that. Now in terms of actually getting into the sport, funny story. I think during that time I did do weightlifting for a bit. I trained at a gym called New Beginnings, which was just down one car park from where Black Flag Barbell used to be. I think that place holds a lot of fond memories for a lot of people.
Definitely.
A lot of
that was my first
start there.
Yeah.
Yep. So one night I was just training my weightlifting, and then we went for a run around the complex. I saw Black Flag, and then I went in and talked to them. They're like, "Oh, we got a comp coming up," and I was like, "All right, let's do it." So I had 2 weeks to kind of prepare, I think, for that comp. It was exactly 2 weeks from when I asked them about it, and I did this first comp with a good friend of mine, Lockie, not Time Performance Lockie, but different Lockie. He's a great guy. He's doing like S&C stuff, and yeah. So we both signed up for that, and we kind of just went in it. Like there's no preparation, no prep, just I messed around. But back then, doing weightlifting, you don't bench, right? So it had been a while since I benched, but we did plenty of squatting, plenty of pulling. So I squatted my first comp high bar. I think I did 142. complete ass to grass. I got the videos, man. I think maybe we can edit it.
Yeah, we'll chuck it in. We'll chuck it in.
I did, I think 185 on deads. I failed 200. Deads always came naturally, sumo at least, even though it's not really like the best. But I think I just had like good leverages for it. And then bench, I think I actually hit my first 100 at that comp.
Oh, wow, nice.
Yeah, so that was really exciting.
But the first 100, I remember it like it was yesterday. Like,
yeah.
I remember what song I was listening to. I remember.
Actually.
I remember I G'd up. I think I tried it like 5 times earlier in the week. Like, that's when I was just like a dog.
And you got
like,
it on
like every
your
session.
Fourth, your fifth?
Yeah. Later in the week, every session was I'd start with a single and then I'd just do AMRAPs at like 4 by AMRAP. Like, literally 10. Like none of these 7 AMRAP, like 10. Yeah. And then I'd get my mate to like do partials and like it was like bodybuilding, but with a bench. And like when I hit my first 100, I was so G'd up and I was like, oh my God, finally hit it.
Yeah, there you go. Well, stimulus is stimulus.
That's it, bro. You get it in.
Stimulus is stimulus, right?
That's awesome, man.
That's what I did for deadlifts, man. Like I just did a 1 rep max every week when I was in high school.
And I guess
it was every Thursday. And I was like, dude, it's Thursday. You know what that means?
It's funny because like when you're at that, I heard this thing earlier today and it was like, sometimes people aren't strong enough to hurt themselves. And it's like, when you first start lifting, I'm not saying you should don't do stupid shit. I think these days, look at our junior team, like the kids are smart enough to know like, hey, I'm going to invest in a coach. I'm going to follow a program. Yeah. I'm not going to max out every week. But back in the day, and I think like even just like 5 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever, like if you started and you're benching, you're like squatting like 80 kilos and you're maxing out like 90, which was what I was doing. Like my squat was like 100, my bench was 100. Yeah. It's like I'm not saying you can't hurt yourself, but it's like you're not doing crazy weight where you can probably afford to max out every week up until a certain point, and then you're like, okay, my body is, I'm getting too strong. Like I'm not like
exactly right. Like as we get more advanced, we have to draw out multiple training blocks. We got to plan out the micro and then into the macro.
Then
maybe we only PR, once in a macro or something. But I think a good way to think about it for those beginners or people who don't really lift is their week is their micro, their week is their macro, their week is their meso, right?
That's
they can
true.
probably do it all at the same time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, those are good times though. Like
they were the best.
I was just getting stronger every single time. Yeah. Doing dumb stuff, and like I agree. Like I maxed out every single session. And, maybe some days I feel more tired than others, but I never got hurt.
Yeah.
Except this one time.
No, we always, hey, there's a reason why we are now. Like,
what was your
there was a catalyst.
Tell me, what was your dumbest, like,
I'll tell you.
17-year-old injury?
I'll tell you. Well, dude, I didn't start lifting weights until I was 19, let alone powerlifting.
Yeah.
I didn't start powerlifting until I was 21.
Yeah.
So only like 4 years. And most of that time I've been it's just been a shit show, man. I've been injured or I've been in Europe. It hasn't been a straight 4 years, man.
Injured or has been in
Europe? Seriously, it hasn't been the best athlete in terms of just training every single month for like 3-4 years on end. And life happens. But when I first started powerlifting, similar to, I think you met Lennox through.
I gotta tell you
if Lennox watches this, mate. Enjoy.
So for those who don't know, Lennox is my coach, but
yes.
I'll tell you something.
Yeah, so did you meet Lennox at your first comp?
So I met this was my second Black Flag comp.
You met him at his first comp, Black Flag, and that was your second. Yeah.
So the story goes. Actually,
I remember.
We'll do this first, and then we'll talk about your injury.
Let's introduction to Lennox.
Introduction to Lennox. So I'm at my second Black Flag barbell comp. Right, I'm warming up for squats. We're doing well, and then the announcer goes, "Bars loaded for Lennox," and then dude taps me like on the shoulder or something behind. He's like, "Hey man, I just got here." He's like, "Where do I go?" I was like, "What's your name?" He's like, "Lennox." I was like,
"Oh my God,
you're meant to be on the platform right now." He's like, "Oh shit."
I remember that.
I think he opened at 180. So I told him, "Hey, pop your stuff down. Like, let's just skip your first attempt. Let the clock run." And then, I was helping him load plates, helping him warm up as fast as possible so he can get out there for a second. So then he went out, I think, 180 on his second. And then he YOLO'd a 200 on his third, which he missed. And that's my coach, folks.
It's so funny.
That's my coach now.
It's so funny that full circle, like
crazy.
you met like that, and now he's coaching you.
Yeah.
And I've known Lennox since we were like 12.
Yeah.
And we.
Oh, really? 12?
Yeah,
Oh,
we're quite close.
Schoolmates,
like we don't
or?
see each other a lot, but when we see each other, it's like this.
How'd you guys meet?
In school, like
Same high school?
Yeah, same high school.
Okay,
like since we've just been in the same year, same classes. Like, you know.
That'd be nice, bro. I wish some of my classmates did powerlifting. Like,
well, no, but I didn't like me and Lennox. Like we've known each other that long, but we only got close when we started lifting together.
Yeah.
So started training at 19. I was doing like bodybuilding stuff, like just whatever. And then when I was like 21, I did my first comp that Lennox pushed me to do, and it was a black flag comp for me. And he was competing.
His second comp, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Was he wearing a shirt that says "Eat more vegetables"?
Yes. That was second, the one where he rolled forward after attempting 240. Yeah. The standard Lennox fashion. That's where it all started.
I didn't know he did it all the way back then.
Yeah. Oh, mate, that's the origin story of Lennox. And that was my first comp.
Yeah. And okay.
Yeah, like that comp for me ignited my passion. And it's still been the same to this day. Like I've loved the sport because of that comp. So shout out to Black Flag. You know, we wish you were still here. That was an amazing. That was amazing facility and like great energy.
It was ahead of its time, man. Like to be honest, like there was not much around.
Yeah, like back then I wasn't even aware because I wasn't in the powerlifting space, but I was like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah. I think the only other gym around back then was maybe Adonis as well.
Yeah.
At least in this area that I knew of. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, we were both young, so.
So yeah, I think back to the stupid injury. I think after Black Flag, 3 months after, I bulged my disc in my back. So when I like for context, I probably had like an 8-week prep or 12-week prep of like actual powerlifting ever. Yeah. Like SPD into that comp.
You coached?
No, like me and Lennox were just doing whatever, and we were just kind of following each other, and I was trying to do the same volume as Lennox, and that's why my back broke. But like it was okay into comp. And then after comp, I was so passionate. I was like, I want to get stronger. I want more. And then I just pushed myself over the edge. And then worst injury ever, like bulge disc. It was chronic. It was like it lasted for 6 months. Then psychologically, it took me like a year to recover from. And even after that, it was just chipping away.
Yeah. You full got it like diagnosed and everything too.
Yeah, got a scan and everything. Which scans, let's not get into that, but they don't help. I don't think they help looking back. But you know, because psychologically, the doctor fucked me, man. He said, "Oh, you'll never deadlift again."
Yeah.
And I believed him. I was 21, young. I started I didn't have a coach. I wasn't in the space like I am now. I don't know what I know now, and I believed him. So psychologically, it was the biggest recovery, like to come back from that.
Of course.
And I was honestly close to like I was just going, fuck, man, is this for me? I'm not sure. Second guessing myself, but thank God that was honestly my hardest lesson in the first 3 months of my like powerlifting career. So to speak, and then after that, just like picked up, got amazing.
See, I've always been different.
Really?
I've hurt myself, and I've never really gone to see anyone for it. Just never really did. I think later on, I mean, I did study psychology, and I think a lot of that like kind of made sense, right? Because these, you know, the doctors, whatnot, like physios, they hold like a position of authority. What they tell us, we're gonna believe. We're gonna like. Don't even worry about buy-in. It's like, I'm your doctor. You tell me this, I got no problem. I trust you, right? I guess naturally, I've just never really gone. So my dumbest injury, I think I was not the dumbest, just when I was younger, right? My probably first big one that I remember. I don't think I tore my trap or anything, but I was doing, dude, my max deadlift was probably like 180, and I was doing like 260 rack pulls. And at one point, my right trap just started hurting a lot. And then for the rest of the week, I was walking like this.
Oh my God.
I'm not kidding, bro. I was like, fuck, Mom, does my shoulder look lower?
Bro.
And it was just like this for a whole week.
That's crazy.
I was at work, I was sweeping, and I was like, oh, my neck, my trap.
Was it just for a week?
I did go to a physio after, and then it was all fine, I think.
That was your worst injury?
No, it was like my first one
where I was
silly
one.
I was like, ooh,
it affected you.
From doing actual, like, because we were talking about doing some stuff and being, you know,
invincible.
Like, being invincible.
Which you're not.
But obviously, like, that was like the first one.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, there you go. That's cool, man.
What we're talking about? We're talking about like, I guess mindset around injury.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, briefly we were touching upon that, but I want to get into talking about you as a coach.
Yeah,
and,
sure.
And,
Okay,
and
we'll
how
do
you
that.
got into that. So tell me a bit how you got into PT first,
Yeah.
and how you got into coaching, more specifically, obviously powerlifting.
PT came a lot later.
Yeah.
So this is, I think, my third year of being a PT. I had a year at X Gym, working under X Gym. And then I think this is my second full year, right? Coming into with Titan.
Yeah.
So PT came a lot later. But I was coaching, right? Even back when I was at Snap. So this was actually just very casual, very down low. But essentially, like, we had a good group of boys, you know, and I had a very fond memory, like, of training with these guys. So I guess because I started training a lot earlier, right? I started training in year 11, year 12. By the time my mates joined me, you know, in first year uni, you know, and a few other kids from Cherrybrook Tech were also at Snap. They were like, hey, man, were you, like, in the year above us or something like that? We all started training together. And because I had, like, a bigger base, you know, I think back then I was, you know, squatting, like, 180, 200.
Strong as.
Benching, like, you know, 100 to 120, and then deadlifting, like, 220 to 240.
Back then, that's, like, elite.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, this was, like, first year uni, second year uni. And then all these, like, the other dudes were like, oh, damn, like, I want to do this. And we started getting a group. Everyone started buying their SBD, like, all their equipment. And then, you know, eventually they need a program to follow.
Yeah.
So I was just coaching them. They were like, hey, can you
that's how you start. That's how everyone starts.
That's how I think everyone should start.
Yeah.
And I think I don't think I was charging my mates.
Yeah.
I think the first few I didn't charge, or even if I did, I think it was $15 a week.
Yeah.
Up to the most recent days, I only had one guy just left me, but he was my first ever client. I think he was paying me $20 just a week, right?
Yeah.
From all the way back from 2017, 2018 till literally like 2-3 months ago. Right? He stopped because he got a, what's it called? Deviated septum surgery.
Oh, okay.
Right. And then he kind of wanted to do something else. But like, see, like, I think to start as a coach, you just need experience. And I don't think anything teaches you more than just experience. Right? Like, just trying things and learning things. Like, my mindset of, like, how to program and all that has changed so much from the start. And I think just having a bigger roster as well, because then you see what works for different people, and there's
bigger pool.
No set rules. Well, there's guidelines and principles.
We'll talk about that later with Ange.
There's guidelines and principles, but, like, I mean, stimulus is stimulus.
Yeah.
You find what works and you do that. Yeah. So that was how I got into coaching.
Yeah.
PT was a bit later. Yeah. So I graduated from university, and at the same time I graduated, I finished my PT cert. So I did do corporate for like 6 months. I hated it. And then I was like, look, if I'm going to do PT, because I got my cert at the same time, I don't want it to go to waste. I was like, I think this is a good time to try it, right? I was 22. I was like, all right, let's give it a shot. And then somehow we're here now.
That's so cool,
3 years
man.
later. So still haven't used my bachelor's degree, but it is what it is.
Me neither, bro. Hey, it happens. It happens. That's so cool. Yeah. That's awesome, man. I love that. So tell me a bit about kind of how your memory of how we met and how you got involved with Titan. Because you've been with Titan for a couple of years now, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man. How did we meet? So 2022, we weren't friends. Like, we didn't know of each other.
Yeah.
I think I met you at States, right?
You know, the first time I heard your name
Ava.
was obviously through Lennox.
Oh, that was through Ava. I met Ava before I met you.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, at Bella Vista.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
But I met when Lennox was telling me about his first comp. He said he met a dude named Michael. That's like a big puller, and that was you. Yeah, so like I knew of you, but like I didn't know you.
Yeah.
But it was that comp, right? Central Coast. That was the first time.
Black Flag.
That we met, like that I remember at least.
Yeah, that one. Dude, that left my memory.
Yeah, that was the first time we met.
Was Lennox there?
Yes, he was handling me. Yeah. So that was actually my last time I hit 9 for 9, I think, from memory, and it was such a good comp for me. And I think you deadlifted like 275.
275. Yeah. So that was the comp. That was the first comp in my qualifying season for 2022.
Yes.
That was the state qualifier. Yeah, that's what it was.
Yes.
Yeah. I remember that. I remember that. We went to Central Coast Barbell, and for some reason we had to lift in a different gym, right? They made you weigh in at one gym, and then you went to another one.
Yeah, it was like a little shed.
Yeah.
I mean, standard
but that was
powerlifting,
good. That was
but
good. I remember
that was
who I competed
fun.
against. Oh,
Yeah.
barely competed against.
Yeah.
It was Yanni.
Yeah, it was Yanni.
And it was Ewan as well.
I remember when Yanni was...
They were both 90.
The 90, yeah.
I was like, oh.
93 Yanni, bro. He has come a long way since 93 Yanni.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's when we first met.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. So but I didn't know you back then.
Yeah, no, we didn't.
So,
No, but that's when we first literally just like
We just
shook
said
hands and
hi.
said hello.
Yeah.
Like that was it.
Because you were like, oh, I'm Ava's boyfriend.
Yeah.
Right? Because I met Ava at
Bella.
At Bella Vista. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Nice to meet you. That's it.
Yeah.
I think that was it. We didn't really like chat.
Nah.
We didn't really...
Nah, it wasn't in depth at all.
No.
Yeah, just
But
a
that's
hello.
where we had like our first little introduction. Next meeting point would then be the States, right?
Yes, when Michael Wu
was that in
became
March?
state champion. Yeah, March or May or something.
March, something like that. Yeah. And then that's where I met not just you, but you, Lockie, and Greg.
Yeah,
They were all there like,
you met the
"Hey,
gang.
man."
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Who are these dudes?
Yeah, I feel like
I was like,
that
oh,
was the moment
yeah.
where we just started to get a little bit closer. Into
Yeah,
it.
but we still weren't really friends. It
No.
was just saying hi to each other at comps. But then for some reason, later that year, so that was March, right? Later that year in October, November, when we went to Melbourne, they were like, hey, come live with us.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, sure. One Asian dude and 3 bald men, like, sure.
We did a trip to Melbourne for nationals for
nationals
APU.
that year, yeah.
Back when I could actually qualify for nationals. And that was a cool trip.
That was fun.
I remember I came back, had a 4-week prep from Europe. So
Did you go to Europe that year?
yeah.
Oh, my days, bro.
I'm a mess, bro.
You were with Rondell back then, right? I think?
Yeah, something like that.
That was your coach.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I was.
That was a terrible comp for me.
It was a terrible comp for me, and it was also a terrible comp for Lucky.
What'd you told
I
him?
remember. Oh, Lucky hit a big squat, but like 242. Oh fuck! I hit like 195, 147, and then 240 maybe.
Yeah.
It wasn't great.
Yeah.
But to be honest, for a 4-week prep, consider where I was before, like basically detraining, like I was like actually.
That was the worst meet of my life.
Yeah, was it? Yeah, it was pretty rough. I remember you were in sham. I remember you got home Friday night and you were competing Saturday or something like that, and you were handling someone.
I was handling the day before.
And I was like, Michael, you like, because you got home late. And I remember I
got
heated
home
up.
I got home at like 10.
I heated up a bowl of food for you. I remember
You did,
rice
you
and
made me
meat,
rice and
and I was
meat,
like,
yeah.
bro, Michael, eat, man. Like, what are you doing? Like, go and rest. Like, it's
I
late.
thought I'd be fine, to be honest.
Nah.
But you know what? Actually, I think that was actually the first sanctioned comp I handled at as well.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh boy,
Like
fuck,
deep
I didn't
end,
know what I was
full
doing.
deep end.
Yeah. Stressful because we didn't really have lifting cast, I think, in 2022.
Oh, but don't. You know what? Don't. That comp was the first comp.
No, I had to run around.
Same.
You had to run around from platform to warm-up room to platform to
I was
platform.
handling the day I was competing, so I handled before, and I handled
Yeah, no, you did.
I handled
that was worse.
4 or 5 people,
That was
and
terrible.
they had dual platforms. So like, you had to go around here and like be with this person, and then there was a crowd, so you had to go all the way around APU spec, and then go handle this person.
Yeah.
And it was just
Exactly, and then the warm-up room is all the way back there.
And
then
yeah,
we had one.
you'd think there'd be
the
two
TVs
separate-
were separate. The TVs were all separate.
It
We
killed
didn't
me.
really have lifting cast.
after that comp. I was like, I'm never handling again. Like on that same
Yeah,
day, I'm
you said
competing. I'm
that,
sorry,
you
but
said
like
that.
there has to be a boundary there.
I still have PTSD from that. Like at Nats, right? Me and Joe's are gonna go to Nats.
Yeah.
I still low key. I'm like, fuck. I don't want to
Yeah.
handle the day before.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
Whatever, right?
That look,
Like,
honestly, I mean, everyone's different, but day before, like I did it at States
Yeah.
23 or whatever it was last year,
And it's-
it was okay.
it's a lot better.
But day of, like big for
Day
me,
of,
no, it's just a no.
no.
Some people
No.
do it, fair enough, but
Yeah.
I'm not.
takes
big
too
fan.
much, man.
Yeah, I give everything when I handle, man. It's like it's more stressful than me competing. So
Yeah, I agree. When I'm watching my athletes, like
I get more
a
nervous.
bigger-
Way
Yeah, exactly.
big
More
adrenaline
than
dump
myself.
watching them. Yeah,
Because you don't know what's gonna happen. You made the call.
yeah, a lot of
But
responsibility.
If it's yourself, it's like,
Yeah,
I loaded this. I'll do it.
yeah.
Right? It's
Just
not a
pick
big
it up.
deal.
You
Yeah,
don't even
exactly.
think. You just execute.
Yeah. So
Awesome, man. Then yeah, how'd you get involved with Titan? So tell me about that.
it was after. It was still after this. I was still wasn't
it
part
was.
of Titan. I was
It
still at. I think I was at X Gym. Yeah, no, I was still at X Gym here. 2022. I think I joined 2023. Did I? No. I got my years wrong.
It's been 23. Like start
I
like
joined in Feb 23, right? Yeah.
yeah.
So that must have been the year my grandpa got sick, 2022. Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah. No, that was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So I took a bit of a travel break. So I think I took time off work. I went overseas, spent time with my grandpa. That was like 2 months.
Yeah.
I came back and then
That's when you got injured, hey? Because you left.
Oh, I need to look at my Instagram.
No, it was. That's all right. We don't need exact dates.
Yeah,
like,
okay. I think
that time.
I have a rough time.
My memory is you got injured and you were really just like in a spot, like you were just not in a good place.
Yeah.
You went to Taiwan, I think, for a while.
Yeah, so I did get very, very injured. I think this was probably my worst back injury to date. I was deadlifting 220.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
yeah.
I think this is a Wednesday. So this is a bit, maybe a month or so after nationals. Like, work picked up a lot. I think I was doing like 36, 35, like 30 plus hours of PT, right? So quite a bit for anyone who does PT. I think like 35 plus hours of PT a week.
It's a lot.
And you know, it's not just regular PT at a commercial gym where, you know, people are lifting 10 kilos. I'm out here loading plates for Mr. Rob Mandel, fucking taking 25s and going up here, right? He's way taller than me.
Yeah.
I'm doing that, like and then I have, you know, deadlift, like, you know, it's spotting loading is tiring as well.
Yeah.
So I was quite overworked, I'd say. And then one morning I was doing 220. Look, my tech wasn't the best as well. Shout out to Tien, he pointed that out. And then I couldn't break 220 off the ground in the morning at like maybe 10, 11 a.m. So I was like, damn, all right, whatever. I wasn't hurt. I just couldn't break it off the ground. Packed it up, did my bench, and then went to do my full day of PT, right? Keep in mind, I didn't really eat. I didn't really drink water in between these sessions. I just had back-to-backs. And I finished around like 8, 9 p.m. And then at 10 p.m., I was like, oh, I'm going to do my deadlifts again. So I loaded it up. I did the 220, and I got it up. But then, like, on my second rep, I felt like, boop.
Pop.
Boop. And I was like, oh, what's that? Let's go again. I did it again. Third one was fine. I did it again. Fourth one, boop, again. I was like, damn. And I think I did that like 3 times.
Yeah.
And then over the course of the week, it just got worse and worse and worse and worse. And, yeah, like my motivation for training started going down. It wasn't like a one big, like, oh, I can't walk anymore. It was like, oh, like it's annoying. And then I still trained the next week and then whatever. And then suddenly I was like, I actually can't walk.
Yeah.
Like it hurt to like work. But then at the same time I went to Taiwan and everything was just bad. Like carrying a backpack, riding a bike, taking a dump.
It's the worst.
It was just there. It's like sleeping as well. It was just really, really annoying.
Yeah.
So that took a while to come back from. I think maybe 2, 3, 4 months. But then, yeah.
I remember that. It was after that we had a chat.
Yeah. After that, I came back, and then I didn't really have any more motivation to work. So I think that's when Lewis, like, approached me. We went to EJ's.
Yeah.
And then we had our first chat there. And I was like, you know what? I'm keen to, you know, join you, do our own little thing, and see where that takes us, I suppose. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, man.
That's been the story since, I guess.
Yeah. No, it's been a pleasure having you on board, man. I mean, you've been here for, you know, I mean, obviously, like, in the beginning, actually, I want to make a quick shout out to Jose. He had me here for Average Joe Radio. Thank you, Jose, because he pushed me
out to Jose
to do this podcast and get this started. But speaking of when we first caught up, actually, I just had the biggest brain explosion.
Commercial break. I think it's time for some loaded candy. So right
actually,
here we got green apple.
You said you're gonna have some. Pump some.
That's what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, okay, sorry.
He's having a bit of a brain fart. I think it's perfect time for some loaded candy. So let's rip this open.
No, but what were we talking about?
What were you talking about?
EJ's.
Yes. No, you were shouting.
Oh yeah, I was here speaking with Jose a couple of weeks ago, and we were talking about how Titan started and how it was just me in the beginning. But, you know, and it was me for like a year, but for the past 2 years it's been you've been here. So you've been a big part, man.
Yeah. Thank you. No, thanks for having me. Like I've never felt more like part of a team. Like I mean, now that we're in December as well, I look back at things that have happened in, you know, March and February. I'm like, oh, that was only this year.
Yeah.
Not like 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just a time of year.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, thank you, man. Like I I really do appreciate you taking care of me, and like, I think that's why I've been here, and do these extra things, and it's just a community, part of a team thing.
Yeah.
We have our beach gathering this Sunday as well.
Yes.
Very keen for.
Yeah.
It's just a big family, so.
Yeah, it is, man. But it wouldn't be that without you and without our clients, and like we've really built something from the ground up, man. And I was talking a lot about that in the podcast with Jose, so that's why I shout out Jose. Cause thank you for having me on the podcast. And
I think Jose's doing really well as well with his client base, and
he's
doing a clothing
he's getting
brand
into doing a clothing brand. He's getting into hybrid stuff, which is really cool.
Stylish guy, so
he is. He's got the style. Awesome, man.
Not me. I just wear tight and rich.
Hey, that's stylish, bro. What are you saying, bro? So I wanted to ask a couple of questions. I think I'll kind of merge these two. But what do you love about being a coach, and what are your goals for 2025 as a coach and an athlete?
What I love about being a coach. Oh, okay. I guess teaching others is probably the biggest thing. I've had thoughts before. I was like, I could be a decent teacher. I think at the end of the day, like having worked in corporate, having worked with, or like PT as well, I am a people person. I get more energy being around people, and I get more energy, and I feel good, helping others as well. It doesn't have to be like gym related. It just happens so that, I had more experience in this. I started younger. I made all the mistakes that, people shouldn't have to make. They shouldn't have to break their backs. They shouldn't have to go through it.
A big thing.
So just being able to show them what I learned. And, if it took me 8 years to learn these things, if I can show one of my clients who's only a month or two into lifting, they can save themselves 8 years of pain, right? Obviously, talking about being coachable and, listening, like that's a different story. But as your coach, you got to do your due diligence, duty of care. Like you give them what you can, right? And then it's up to them to take it.
Yeah.
So like, I think that's probably my favorite part being a coach. And I guess when you do that and you just see progress and you just see crazy growth, you're just like, that's it.
It's the biggest reward,
right?
Hey?
That's it. Like, and then I think there's no bigger show of that progress than at like a meet day.
Yeah, that's the day where it counts, right?
Right? All the work just kind of just expresses itself.
Yeah.
Even if training or peak or didn't go that well, but on the day it does, it's just like, there you go. Yeah. You had to trust it from the very beginning, and it was the meme. It was there on meet day. It'll be there.
Yeah.
It's a reality.
Yeah.
Most of the time, it is. Look, we'll all have our bad meets. I've had my bad meets. You've had your bad meets, but it's just part of the process.
Yeah, that's. I was talking to an athlete about that.
Yeah.
A few weeks ago.
So I think that's probably my favorite part of being a coach. Teaching technique and just seeing things click, figuring out in terms of programming. Like all of it. I would not say there's like anything I dislike about coaching. I think as coaches, we do tend to get quite emotionally invested into our clients, their progresses as well. Like I've been told, sometimes I feel like you care more about my progress than I do. I'm like, I am supposed to.
That's what you pay me for.
Right? Exactly. So I guess sometimes when there's a mismatch in that, I will get a bit stressed. But I mean, it's a good stress to have. It's not like, it's not like, my clients just lost $5 million in the stock market. Like it's a different, like
you pushing them and keeping them accountable. You told me this. Why are you doing these things? We need to, change the mindset. We need to do different, actionables to get to that goal, and keeping them accountable. That's what they pay for, man. Because having someone in your corner that's why coaching is so great. Because you on your own, you can only go so far. Yeah.
I think the biggest quality a coach can have is probably just one word, just care.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That increases the buy-in, that increases like communication, like all of that. And when the entire process is just more like done with more care, like person just goes further.
I agree, man. And I think I remember when I first brought you on board, a big thing I said to Titan, I was like, hey man, I said this to Jose, when I started Titan, I was like, I want to be one of the best coaching services in Australia for powerlifting. That's it. That's our goal. And I think a big thing to do that is quality of service per client.
Yeah.
You see a lot of, coaching is obviously very saturated these days. And you see a lot of people that just take on hundreds of clients and they're just giving out the service is trying to, because you can make good money coaching. You know? But I think keeping it quality, keeping it premium services, and making sure every client is looked after, you're checking in on them. That's the biggest thing, because they can see that, they can feel that. You know, when they're like, oh, you know, he hasn't really asked me how I am in a few weeks. Like he's just gone, yep, good, you know, good stuff. Like keep pushing, looking strong. Like, it's good to be like, hey man, you know.
Well, that's why you have a cap, right? So
yeah, exactly.
How many clients you're taking?
100%.
Yeah. Obviously, we try to reach out to, you know, clients who are struggling, things like that. But yeah, so.
Yeah. No, that's awesome, man. I love that. I agree with that. It's very, very rewarding. I love this shit, man. I've been put on this earth for this reason. You know, I really feel like I've found my calling. Yeah. And I think you probably the same for you. Right? I don't want to speak for you, but it looks like you're very, like, I wouldn't have you on board if you weren't passionate. You know, like that's what we're about. If I sense a lack in passion, I'll just have a chat to you straight and be like, what's going on? Like, tell me. You know, because everyone sees that. You know, even the people watching this, people listening to this, the people in the space. That when you're coaching your own athletes, it's the energy. That's everything. We were speaking about this a few weeks ago during a meeting. The energy that you give out, your athletes can sense that.
Oh, 100%.
And that's absolute key into coaching on game day through the phone. You know, it's really, really important.
Yeah, 100%. I agree.
Yeah, awesome, man. Now tell me a bit about your goals for 2025 as a coach and athlete. What you got? I know you're.
So 2025, it will be good. I think it will be my first time coaching second time coaching at a nationals, right? But obviously this year the QT's way higher.
APA nationals. Second APA nationals. Yeah.
I think this year I've had 2 athletes qualify for opens, Jason No and Angelica. So unfortunately Jason's not doing it. He's on his honeymoon for like 6 weeks.
Captain Korea.
Yeah, Captain Korea. I miss you, Jason.
I miss you too.
So
okay, barbecue when we get back.
Yeah, sadly, like he won't have time to prep for it just because he's away for so long.
Yeah.
Even though he did qualify twice this year. We'll do a recap for Jason soon. But Gels will be doing it. So I think from Titan it's just me and Gels.
Yep.
For the opens at least.
The open nuts.
So she completely smoked it.
And I'll be very proud. That's my next question, but we'll touch on her performance at Camel Time in a second.
Like, I'm very proud of how far she's come. We put in so much work because she was not a powerlifter. Not at all.
9 months ago.
She only did her first novice comp this March. Her first sanctioned comp this November. Yeah. And like literally like, you know, she was a PT client of mine. We still train at a commercial gym, right? Bumper plates, Olympic bars, squishy floors. Yeah. Right. We still train there, and like the growth has been just phenomenal. And I think a lot of that is just mindset.
I agree.
I mean, you know, she didn't have like a big strength base. Her, you know, I remember maybe a year or so back, we were just benching like 30, squatting like 50 kilos, deadlifting. She was deadlifting like maybe like 70 to 90.
That's right? Unreal progress.
Yeah, but I think as soon as you switch that
mindset,
right? Flip the switch. Sorry, not switch the flip.
Yeah, yeah.
Flip the switch. Primary squats today. Actually, will I crash?
Nah, bro. You don't zero crash,
so
man.
You don't crash. Zero crash. Look, it says right here.
She did flip the switch after her novice in March.
Her first novice, exactly. So to be able to go, I guess, literally from the ground up, from never lifted weight before to first novice to then winning her first sanction, and now she's nominated quite well within the 63s for Nats. I can't remember exactly what it is, but then, yeah, so next year going to Nats together would be my first actual, like, experience, I guess, on the national platform. Second experience, but this time with the QTs being just that much higher. Yeah. You know, the level of performance is that much higher.
And coaching your own athlete there as well, like from the ground up.
Exactly, from the ground up.
Like you've taken her from PT, like 60 kilo, 70 kilo deadlift, whatever, up until, you know, qualifying for even 69s.
Yeah.
And we know nationals, it's not easy feat to qualify for nationals anymore. It's not. If you get to nationals, you deserve to be at nationals. Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, I was at nationals with my athlete in 2022 as well. Shout out to Alex Ciccarelli. So that guy, you know, I did work with him for a while as well, but it wasn't from the ground up. Like, he had a good base. You know, Luke was coaching him for a bit, so you know, I can't be like, oh yeah, I did all this. Like, right?
No, I'm saying from APA Nats.
Exactly.
Like, you were a huge help to the team, but you didn't have anyone on the day, did you?
Which one?
The first APA Nats Junior.
Oh no! Like this year's one.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Like you were helping out back with everyone, but you didn't have your own.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So this year,
this is different. Like you've built her from the ground up. You're there, and you're flying for it too. It's almost like an international type. You know, like it's 5 hours. Perth is it's another country away, man.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
It's so you get a bit of that experience.
So that'll be really, really good. Are you sure you're not coming?
Oh man, we'll see what I can do.
Lockie's coming.
Yeah, is he? Did he say he was coming?
Lockie's coming because someone's got to handle me.
Yeah.
Right. So me and
good.
Gels will be doing that, and then obviously I'll be here with you guys for Mega Nets, and that'll be really fun.
Oh my god, that's gonna be mega. That'll be crazy.
I don't have as much sub juniors and juniors as these guys.
Yeah.
It's crazy. They have all the kids.
Yeah, me and Lockie tend to have all the juniors, and you tend to have the opens. But yeah.
So.
Oh, awesome, man. So competing at Nats yourself and coaching yourself.
I think talking to Gels, like she's just excited to be at the national platform, and I said same. Like, look, we're still gonna train. We're gonna train hard. We're gonna lock in. We're gonna do everything we can. She wants to squat 150. She wants to bench like 75, 77. She wants to deadlift 200.
Yeah.
I was like, let's go.
Yeah.
Right. Start of the year when she told me she wanted to, when she had a 127 deadlift, right, RP like 10, and she failed 132. Right. She told me, oh, I want to deadlift 170 end of this year. I was like, let's go. Right? And
wow. Plus 17.
She did that by October. And she's like, oh, let's just make it 180.
Raise.
I was like, all right. And then she did 187 in November. And I was like, okay, cool. Right? There's no doubt. Right?
Yeah.
You can't have doubt.
Yeah.
So you say you're going to do 200 by Feb? Let's do 200. I'll load it either way.
You got to back him, man. That's it. If they say a goal.
You got to back yourself.
They got to. Yeah, that's the first step. You know, even though you have a coach, you need to back yourself, believe in yourself.
Yeah.
And then
I do think to be at the top level, you need some sort of ego as well.
You need ego, you need delusion, I think, almost like a little bit.
Not like a toxic
type, not
right?
toxic, but like a confident amount.
Otherwise, if you don't believe in it, then it's not going to happen.
Who will?
It'll never happen.
Who will, bro? Even if your coach believes in you, it's like, at the end of the day, like you're lifting that bar. They're not going to lift it for you.
Yeah. But also, that's why we talked about the energy between the coaches and the clients being so important. Is like, if your coach is like, oh yeah, like I think you can do that, or let's make it a little bit more realistic. Like, realistic is good.
Yeah.
I think as of recent, I've just been trying to aim like a bit unrealistic. Yeah. Even if I fall slightly short, I'll still go further than if I just aimed realistically.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe. Who knows, right?
Yeah.
That's
another topic. That's a big topic to delve into.
Yeah. So, as for myself, okay, so I guess this is for myself then. I would like the total 720, around 720. It's a big ask, right? Very big ask, because maybe in the last year I've only put on 20 kilos, year and a half, right? I think I did. But
that's not an indication of where you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, mindset.
People think, it's going to just be less. I mean, if you think that, it probably will be that. But
no, like I did, here's the thing. I did 650 at States 2022. Then I did 2023, maybe like March, I think I did 670. First Nations, 680. 2023 States, 682.5. That was when my dog died.
Yeah, that was still a good, very good situation. You had a good day, considering.
Considering the circumstances. Yeah. And then only most recently, I did 690 in August. Yeah. So 720 is a bit of a big ask.
Aim for it, dude.
Look, exactly.
What's the saying? Aim for the shoot for the stars, land on the moon.
Shoot for the, I don't know.
That makes sense. Stars are higher than the moon. Yeah. Shoot for the stars, land on the moon. Yeah. Like aim high.
Exactly. So we'll see.
Yeah.
That's my goal. Man, it's coming up quick.
It is.
It's a sneak up on you.
It is. It's really almost Christmas, man.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. I can't wait to see that. I can't wait to see you compete as an athlete and then you coaching Angelica. It's going to be so cool.
Look, either way, it'll be better than my first Nats experience.
Yeah, it will. It will, man.
I totaled 590, I think. At my first Nats. That was terrible.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I nominated 650.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, so like I said, we have those comps.
The first one. Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of Angelica, right? So she's your open under 63 girl. Tell us a bit about her most recent performance at Campbelltown, Warrior of the West.
Yeah.
And like we did speak briefly about her, progression and how she switched on March after her novice.
Yep.
I haven't seen anyone progress like that. I definitely haven't seen a female progress like that in such a short time ever in my experience of coaching. So hats off to her and hats off to you for that.
Yep.
And also like a bit of game day behind the scenes stuff, because she managed to sneak into first with a classic Titan pull, adding plus 17 from a second attempt.
Yeah.
And that was poor. I mean, that was up there for me, man. I think, for me, like the biggest moment for me was...
We've had a lot of those this year.
Yeah, we have. So it started with Noah.
And
that was like by far, like pulling seventh to first is unheard of. And for me, that was hands down the most like proud like moment in my life in terms of coaching.
Yeah.
And it was, I remember I was just like, the moment was on repeat for about a week. A week. Like it was just crazy. Like just all the circumstances leading up to it. And then after that, you had, was it Manhay after that? That pulled into second?
Manhay did the same, pulled into second, but at a novice comp.
Yeah.
Look, we were sweating at the novice comp. We won, every comp novice.
Hey, but it's good practice as a coach to run numbers. Like, I know people can make fun of it and go, oh, it's a novice, relax.
Exactly. But it's also your job to make sure your client does well.
Exactly. Right? That's what they pay for, man. And game day coaching, it's no joke, man. Like, you're giving, I think you'll make them both agree that game day coaching is the most tiring, exhausting thing, because you're putting in maximum effort. Like there's so much pressure, and especially when you get to that, like, when you get to a national level, international stage, it's so much responsibility on your shoulders. Like
especially when you're fighting for placing.
Yes.
Look, if you're just there to PR, have a good day,
then it's like a bit more
chill. Right, but if you're fighting for placing,
you gotta be on, switched on.
Athlete has voiced that they want to go for something.
Flow state.
You need to be.
Yeah.
Right, you can't make a mistake. So, I'd say it started with Noah. Manhay did at his novice comp pull into second. So did David. David Yoon also pulled into first. Who else for that comp? Oh my god! I think we had a thing with Rob and Lucas Terrell.
That was
and all of
a
this
battle.
is just like on body weight, body weight, right? So that was like the first half of the year.
And you won on one of them was like by 0.05 GL.
That was, who was that?
Manhay. Or was it?
No.
David.
That was Minho.
Minho,
the most late.
Oh my god!
So
then we had Minho. Yeah,
had Minho also.
So he pulled into first.
Yeah,
and won by 0.05.
He failed 230 in his peak week. He literally we went 200, 220, 242, and he beat this. But this wasn't first within your weight class. This was overall male lifter, because it's a novice comp. They go off GL points, right? So he beat the second guy by 0.05 GL points, I think. So we've had a lot of this, and then gels at the end of the year in a sanctioned, obviously. So,
mate,
like it's a very I was like, it happened a lot, and it's just fun. It's so fun.
It's as a coach, it's the best thing.
It's like
without a doubt.
Yeah.
It's my favorite part. Yeah. My favorite part. I think Lockie can even. I mean, we'll talk to Lockie next week, but I think game day is the best.
Yeah,
it's just like you said. It's where it all comes together, and it's where it's like, if execution's sweet, then it's just like, it's all really up to the coach to make the right calls, to make the smart calls.
Yeah.
Because the lifter better than the lifter themselves sometimes, you know?
You do have to make the smart calls. Exactly. Yeah. Like, that's a big thing. And then, so the most common theme, I think, for this, we both can agree, is 6 for 6, non-negotiable.
Yeah.
Get
100%.
all the kilos you can.
Yes. Right? Collect.
I remember for Noah, you were like 240. I was like, I think he can squeeze out 242. Just a little extra 2.5. And he did, right?
But even that, I was on the conservative side of things.
No, see, that's the thing. You were on conservative.
But it was again, that comes back to having a team, because I can be like, what do you think? Like, and kind of, we can have a discussion around it.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's got to be quick, because you got to put in the attempt. But
yeah. And I think, just as a coach as well, it's a good skill to, not just for your own athletes, but when you're watching someone lift. I love doing this at comps where I'm just watching and I'm kind of predicting in my head
what the top end is.
If they're going to get it or not, if it's their third or what they have.
I can see the first 2 seconds.
Or even just trying to figure out, just based on how they set their body up, how they approach the bar, where their sticking
body
points,
language,
where their sticking points are going to be.
Yeah.
Because I think just the more you watch,
so true.
The way a person deadlifts, or it's like, oh, this person's going to get stuck off the ground, or this person's going to get stuck at lockout. And then it's just a matter of okay, at what weight, how many more kilos, and that just comes with watching a lot of comps, I think.
Yeah,
and then knowing the people.
100%, and if you know that comes to competition scouting.
Yeah,
which is a huge part of game day, especially when you're pulling for placing and you're pushing for placing, and you want to put your athlete in the best possible rank they can be in. You need to know how your competition moves. Yeah. What warm-ups they take, what jumps they take. You need to know these things, because if you don't, it can bite you in the ass.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, not all of it was just, pull into position.
Yeah,
like we
yeah.
had,
That's why I said no. Actually, like just trying to push in general. Like,
yeah, no,
it's not all about the pull.
I don't know if you know, but Kevin and Manhey had a little rivalry as well at Warriors, right?
Yeah,
They wanted to go head on head.
Yes, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Kevin dominated way ahead of Manhey, but Manhey ended up beating him.
Yeah.
We won on body weight because
Poor Kev despawned.
we were just like, I was looking, I was like, hey, Manhey, I think actually if we take this lower end and we bank on him missing, and I'm looking at the way he lifts, I'm like, look, I don't want him to miss, but he might, and Kevin did take a big jump. Unfortunately, he did pass out.
Yeah.
And then that's how Manhey won, right?
We love Kevin.
Like, that's putting yourself in the best position. It's like odds, it's probability. It's
Definitely.
It's gambling.
Yeah, it's probability. Look, I think we can both agree there's generally two strategies. Is like, I mean, all of them are kind of like go 6 for 6 / go 9 for 9 at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I think that was definitely a big learning lesson for me at Worlds, especially. But like, generally, you have a puller and you got to pull.
Yeah.
And that's it. Or you have maybe they have the pull and you just got to milk exactly what you can.
Yeah.
That's where it's just like, at the end of the, I actually think at the end of the day, like just focus on, like you got to look at what the competition's doing, but just focus on your lifter and like what they're doing as well and how they're looking in comparison to the competition, and then you'll be sweet, man, in terms of seeing like, all right, that's their top end, that's the number they can hit. I'm not going to let them push me by 2.5 and miss
exactly, right?
Miss the possible plus 2.5 and then lose 15 kilos. Like you're done after that. It's a lot.
Like another thing I think just going back to why I started lifting in the first place. So I was never inclined at sports. I was never good at sports. I think the only sport I was okay at was swimming.
Yeah.
And I just didn't want to be competitive against other people, and I chose powerlifting for this reason.
Yeah.
I was like, I like the fact that it's just me trying to beat my own numbers,
dude,
and it's not about trying to place or trying to, because everyone's starting point is so different.
Yeah.
Everyone's genetics background is so different. And when I first started, doing the black flag comps, I didn't care about placing. I didn't know placing, GL points. I didn't know weight classes were a thing. I was just like, I'm just a max out, and I just want to max out and beat myself.
Yeah.
But it's also kind of funny how I guess both of us would say, like, just literally focusing on yourself, doing the best you can, beating yourself.
You will be the most competitive.
You will, exactly, right? So obviously, like, at the end of the day, like, there might be, like, that miracle pool, right?
Yeah.
But again, that's international competitions where it matters, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Most of the time, 9 for 9, you'll have a good day.
100%.
Yeah.
That's so true.
Yeah.
I love that. So on that, on game day, talk to us a bit about Angelica at Campbelltown. So you spoke a bit like Kevin and Manhey, so kind of walk us through that.
What is there to say? We just had a good day. We went 9 for 9, and there was nothing special. Speaking of nothing special. Like,
I mean, I would say the pool was quite special. Considering
as in subtotal?
Considering the taper and
until the last thing, there was nothing special. We literally we trained hard. Like, look, I think the biggest thing people don't say enough. Training is a sport, right? You being in the gym and you hitting your week 1, week 2, week 4, whatever it is, that's the sport. And if you can lock in, then the results show themselves on meet day. Like, there are special, like certain circumstances where, meet day coaching and, the miracle pool and stuff that can change things. But like, you're not going to always, you can't bank on that. You can't bank on, I'm 10th, I'm going to load up towards a podium, right? Like,
I think we're developing a bit of a trend of people doing that.
Exactly. But like training is a sport. And if you're just a stronger person, you're going to win.
Oh, I don't agree with that completely.
I
don't agree. Like, you got to be the smartest on the day in terms of attempt selection.
Of course. But I'm saying
the strongest doesn't always win.
I'm not going to catch Jesse.
But it's
bro's just stronger. You know what I mean? I can't load up 350 and just expect to pull it randomly.
Yes, but people miss.
People miss. No, of course. I'm just saying you got to be smart.
Yeah.
But I'm saying training is a sport.
Most of the sport is just getting strong in training. Exactly. I agree. Yeah.
So with gels, subtotal was nothing special. We squatted 140 in training. We did 142 on the day.
Mm-hmm.
Bench, we actually did 70 in training, and we missed 70 on the day.
Yep.
So subtotal, we did exactly what we did in training.
Yep.
I actually find this more common with girls. Like, you probably just
repeat.
You just rely on what you did.
Yeah.
In training.
Yep.
So the deadlift, that was the big one, I think. But I think I think it's more so the fact that you got your nerves, you got the high stakes, you got the fact that everyone's watching, and you're like, I actually have a chance to win. Put all these things together, then we can do some crazy things.
Yeah.
Right? Because she did 160, 170, and we were aiming to do around 180 because that was her end of year goal, right? And because she did 175 in her peak, I was like, 180, that's a solid milestone, right? We'll have a good day. But then, because look, like Keisha was like nominated ahead, right? Way ahead. I think she has a way bigger squat, like 150.
She's very strong.
Done,
yeah.
But unfortunately, she missed. That's when I was like, oh, wait a minute. Like maybe.
That's what I'm saying. Things
Right?
open up.
If things open up.
Yeah, but again,
So,
it's not, you don't want to rely on that ever. Like, you
Yeah.
want to just focus on getting stronger. But at the end of the day, like, if as a coach, it's your job to just
Of course.
keep an eye out. And
Yeah.
when you see things open up, you need to capitalize
Yeah.
on that.
So for the coaches, I guess that's what you have to do. That's your job to do. But for your athletes, they just focus on
yeah.
lifting, man. That's it. So
To tell us about the pool. Like, she plus 10'd onto a second, which was 170.
which
And
is
that's
5 under
already
her best.
That's already from March. What's that? That's a plus
She did 127 in March.
32, plus 42.
She ended up. What did she add?
Yeah.
She added 27. Yeah, she
Yeah,
added
plus
60
42
she added
already.
60 kilos.
That's,
yeah.
yeah, plus 42 already on the second as from March.
Yeah.
Like, same body weight.
Same body weight.
Like, she hasn't,
Yeah.
And then you took, and that was the biggest lift she hit in training.
Yeah.
And then you plus 17.5 to 187
Yeah.
to chip and take first.
To win by 2.5. Yeah.
That was ridiculous.
So it was a yeah, like
I
think
honestly, I was like running in my head. I'm like, the probability of her getting is very low. Like, I knew that. I knew that. Yeah, no, I'm not going to say it right here. I was like, no, but I would never show it. But in my head, I'm thinking, fuck, that's a bit of a push. Like,
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, in this
her-
position as a coach, it's like, you're not going to lose placing because it was 2 of 2.
Exactly.
So it's like, just
told
go
her,
for it.
You're gonna come second anyway. So what do you got to lose, right?
They have nothing to lose.
Yeah.
But in the case of nationals, if you're like,
That'll be different.
that'll be a whole
But
different
that's
scenario.
where I think you gotta. Oh, this is where you gotta like talk to your athlete. I think.
Yes,
But
yeah,
don't
expectations. We've
stress
spoken
them
about
out.
this.
Don't stress them
Yeah,
out
just
too
say,
much.
what's your priority? Do you want to hit a PB? Do you want to have a good day?
Yeah.
Or do you want to send it for placing, or like top 3? Like, what matters to you? And then you can kind of devise a plan with your athlete.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So having that chat before the comp is very, very important. You don't want them stressing about it during the day. Yeah, like, and Joe's like going international. She's like, oh, I want to have fun.
Yeah.
I want to pull 200. I want to just like, I don't think placing's like
She's
a
a
big
dog,
thing
man.
for her. Placing's not a big thing for her just
Yeah.
because I think we're nominated at 6, 7, 8, something
Yeah.
like that. Maybe top 5 would be cool.
Yeah.
But like podium.
Just
like,
place as
we'll
much
see,
as
we'll see.
I think
Yeah,
the goal
we'll
would be
see.
just place as high as you can.
Yeah.
When Noah said to me, I want to win Lewis and Nats.
Yeah.
I said, I'll place you as high as I can.
Yeah.
That's
There
it.
you go.
I didn't put any. I didn't say we're gonna win this. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll place you as high as we can. We'll see you on the day. I literally said to him, I said, on paper, you're not the strongest going into this.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do all the best we can to get stronger, and on the day, we do as best as we can. That's it. And it just happened. It just worked out perfectly.
Yeah.
But sometimes it doesn't. You know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's the game.
I think having a team helps a lot.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
'Cause
I couldn't have done
otherwise
it,
you
dude.
can't
Without
stay there and run
without
the
you
numbers
and you were like simultaneously looking after Sean as well, which is another
Yeah,
83
I was
guy
out
I
back
have.
and you and Lockie were running numbers. Yeah.
And then we were just bouncing off each other, so that was amazing. Yeah, man. Props to Gels, man.
Yeah.
We love you, Gels. You're
Look,
a machine.
We always try to fix technique after each comp. I think with Gels. Yeah.
Yep, tighten that up a bit.
Yeah.
Keep her efficient.
Yeah. She was.
Yep. Flex.
Yeah. I was like, hey, just flex your back a bit.
Yeah.
Plus 60.
Fishing rod that shit. Fishing rod that
Plus
shit up.
60.
Bet. 187.
Yeah, bro was so like.
Yeah.
Bro was super extended.
Yeah, too much. Yeah. Awesome, man. I've got a few questions
Yo.
from my story. So thank you to everyone that popped in those suggestions, especially Big Benny. But before we get into them, maybe we just can get into them quickly, or I can save some for the next episode. But that was awesome, man. That was a good chat.
Yeah. That
hot
went
takes.
really quick, to be honest.
Yeah, it does get quick.
Hot takes. Dude,
Yeah, hot takes.
I'm not good at this.
Come on.
You
The
give
people.
Me, you give me some first. I don't.
I'll give you a hot take.
Yeah, I'm not good at this stuff. I don't.
You don't need to be benching 6 days a week.
I'm just a chill guy, bro.
That's my hot take.
6 days a week.
Yeah, benching. I feel like I think. Look, at the end of the day, it's not like it is an art, but it's not rocket science. Like generally, it's like you need more stimulus, or maybe you're a bit too cooked and you need to manage fatigue better. Like it's usually that's a spectrum, and I feel like these days a lot of coaches just span the shit out of bench. Like I think I even remember, I think I heard at one stage Sean Noriega was doing bench morning of comp, and I'm like, that's crazy. Yeah. That's crazy. Like I don't look. I'm sure like some people do need to push, but I really believe that it's a small percentage of people that need to be benching 6 days a week, 5-6 days a week.
Maybe Sean would have done it was genuinely just buy-in. Like
he
believes that he needs to do it.
Yeah.
I think Marcellus coaching him? No?
I think now he's Marcellus.
Right, whatever. Coaching. It was like, all right, let him do it.
Yeah. That's true. If he thinks it's going to work, it'll work. That's true. Actually, I think that's your hot take. Whatever you do, if you believe it, it'll work. Exactly. Actually, speak on Angelica's programming real quick, just off that hot take. Because you said she was running 10s beltless line deadlift.
Yeah, that was her secondary. She was doing 3 sets of 10 ascending beltless.
Yeah. See, a lot of people would be like, nah, you don't run 10s on deadlifts.
Look, I think a big reason of that was we were doing personal training sessions, and a lot of her sessions were done within the hour, or like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So I couldn't drag out sessions too long. Now it's a bit different. Now I'm like, hey, you can handle a bit more work. I'll just do like one lift and a few accessories with you, and you do your secondary lift yourself, something like that.
Yeah.
But like we did stem from PT sessions where we're very used to finishing the whole workout in 1 hour, which is crazy for a powerlifter, right? And like imagine like, powerlifting 4 1-hour sessions a week.
Yeah.
And then you GL like 87.
Yeah, that's like, crazy.
Hectic, bro. So, but like I think the biggest thing for her is she's like, whatever you say, coach. Like, let's run it.
Buy-in is through the roof.
Right? Exactly. Yeah. She's like, and look, at the end of the day, you do 10s, you do 9s, you 8. It's like, what's the difference?
It's a very small...
Stimulus is stimulus.
Yeah.
Right? If you can do 200 for 10, Lewis, you're gonna be able to pull fucking 260. Surely.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and just as your ceiling goes up, your floor has to come up with it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if I think that's my hot take.
Yeah.
You get strong generally.
Yeah.
In the peak, you refine your skill at lifting heavyweights.
Yeah.
You get a bit more exposure to higher intensities. But just general training, bro, like sets of 10, sets of 8, whatever, like it works. Build your base, just get stronger in general. Like it doesn't matter if I can pull, if I can pull 300 for 1 magically, but I can't do rep work with 240, 250, like am I going to get stronger in the long run? Probably not. If I focus on actually building my baseline. Imagine, bro, if I can do like 3x6 with 260 on deads, I know I'm pulling more than 300 easy.
100%, yeah.
No doubt. Give me a peak and let me work up to those lows and I got it.
Yeah.
But if my baseline is just that much higher, you have no doubt.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of our training is just focusing on getting the baseline up.
Yeah.
We don't even, so actually with Joe's, we didn't even peak per se.
Yeah.
We just run the volume consistently.
Yeah.
The intensities climb up just as the RPE drops down, we just increase.
Yeah.
And I think with the PT session, it does help because I keep my eye on it and I know her RPEs, I know how she moves really, really well. So I can, in my mind, I'm like, oh, you got another week, you got another 2 weeks, you got our block just keeps going.
I do want to mention briefly, PT for powerlifting, no one does. No one does it.
Barely,
and I think it's a superpower for you and Gels because it's like having that online coach, but you're there.
You're there. It's
even with online so coaching, much more efficient hard to see fixing those small things that you can see in person.
Yeah.
That's why I generally think if you've been online, you've been a PT and you're an online coach, you're probably a bit more aware of those small things and a bit more aware of the personal aspects of coaching as well.
Yeah.
And that's just like a superpower.
Yeah. Well, she's like, Michael, you know me better than I know myself.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. But again, back to the programming thing, we don't even have crazy high RPs or intensities with Gels because if she ever grinds out a RP 9 or something, she just shits the bed.
Yeah.
And then she can't do any of her back down work.
Yeah.
We have to drop her back down work significantly.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, that's not productive for the next week.
Actually, this is the hot take. Training doesn't have to be hard to progress.
Training has to be smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you just said if she pushes a 9, she's cooked. And it's not, and you
cooked.
don't get productive.
Then we drop her back downs by 40%, 30, 40%. And then where's your stimulus for next week?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So sub-max training generally will get you stronger long term. I did a video on this. Keep it, if you're doing...
you do it with Sean, right?
Yeah, all you need to do is RP 5 to 7 and you'll just get stronger.
Yeah.
And actually, when you do an RP 7 lift, it's not easy.
It's not easy.
It's not super easy. Like there's some work involved.
Yeah.
And that's just enough to keep you going and,
Yeah.
you know, move into like an 8. But like if you're constantly pushing 9s and 10s every block, it's going to take a toll and you're going to lose that expression of strength, lose that ability to actually work on your baseline. And that's what gets you stronger.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I do think, though, you still need that exposure to intensity at some point because sometimes you just forget.
Because the difference in building baseline and expression of strength, because like sometimes you'll be so cooked from all the base, like the volume you're doing, that your expression of strength during that time, maybe you're away from a comp. You don't need to be doing heavy singles. But for some things, maybe some lifts, some lifters, like maybe for gels, she should be doing singles on bench all year round. You know what I mean? So you can actually see if that bench, whatever you're running for the micro, is working.
Indicator.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah. How do we get here?
How do we get here?
What are we here?
No, the hot take.
Hot takes.
I think. Like one with like speaking about gels, she's been a big, I think, focus like in the past 30 minutes. But like, hot take is, don't be locking in 6 weeks out. Lock in 6 months out.
I thought you said don't be lucky.
Don't be lucky. Don't be locking
Don't
in
be lucky
6 weeks
6 weeks out. Watch out, lucky.
Because so many people just like, I think they just kind of cruise along, and then when it's like, oh shit, I've got like a block or 2 to go, I'm gonna lock in now. When it's like, it's kind of too late. Like you should have been locked in 6 months ago, built the baseline, and then like just keep on running into the comp.
Yeah, that's what I said, right? Like training is a sport.
Yeah.
Training is a sport. Training is a sport.
It's all interlinked.
If you approach can you imagine if you approached every training session as midday?
That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying. It's super.
And I think a big thing I tell my clients, as of recent as well, is like RPE 5 is still training, right? Like move the bar faster.
Yeah. Remember, it's power lifting.
Yeah.
Right? What is power? Right? It's your ability to produce force really fast.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's what power is.
Exactly.
So we're powerlifting. So if you're doing an RP 5, it doesn't mean, all right, boss, I can plus 20 to the bar and I want to max out. Like you should be keeping that, you know, intensity up of movement, of power.
Exactly.
One more we'll do one question. So definitely won't talk about programming. That'll be a rabbit hole. This one's a good one, I guess. That's simple. When to bulk in powerlifting, moving weight classes? Question mark. Question mark. I think it's good for especially the juniors.
Yeah. Look, if you're a young one, just keep eating, just keep training. As long as you feel recovered, feel good going into your sessions, just keep doing that and just see where you end up, I think, over time.
Yeah.
You don't
Stay
need
fueled.
to settle. You don't need to settle or identify as a particular weight
Yeah,
class.
I think that's a big one. Man. Identifying and saying, like, I'm an under 74.
Because
like,
then you're
kind
like,
of just,
I just stop.
Yeah,
right?
you're kind of just, like, capping yourself.
Yeah.
And especially if you're, like, shout out to Jarden. If you're, like, a 15-year-old long boy and you're still 60 kilos, like, brother, you've got weight to put on. Like, you should not be thinking, oh, I'm a 66. Like, you are now, but you won't be forever. And if you are forever, then you're digging yourself a hole. Because, like, you need to push and push and push and build muscle, right?
But I would also say don't rush it, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
A lot of kids will turbo bulk.
Yeah, you don't want to force. You don't want to force it.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't regret it, but I'm just saying, like, as long as you're eating, you're in a surplus, you feel good into each session, just see where you go eventually.
I think my rule is you shouldn't be cutting as a junior, sub-junior.
I've never done
unless you're going to podium or hit a record lift. And that's the only time I'll be like, okay, like, you know, let's do it. But most instances, you should just build into another weight class. Yeah. Especially if you're if you're not even competitive, like, you shouldn't really be cutting into a weight class. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I'd say, if you are competitive, maybe different. If you're going international, if you're representing, stuff like that, maybe slightly different. But at that point, you would have had a few meets under your belt already. Yeah. It's not your first one.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
You got to get there first.
You've had the practice. So, I think that answers that. We'll do one more. I think this one, I wanted you to answer this one because you're, you do a lot of volume, especially on the deadlift. How often should you strap up?
Oh, hot take. This is my hot take then. How often should you strap up?
Yeah. Do you strap up?
So as a hook grip puller, I strap up on everything.
Oh.
I only use my hook grip for my top sets, which are usually within the 1 to 3 rep range. Okay. I just slip otherwise.
Yeah.
And it's not because I don't know how to hook grip. I just got sweaty ass hands. Like they just oil up. I'm sweating right now.
Yeah.
I'm glistening, bro. So I only hook grip my top set. And usually I can only do 3.
Is that every
I can do 5
session?
I can do a set of 5 with hook grip,
Yeah.
but I have to stop the set halfway, re-chalk my hands, and then go again.
Wow.
Because the chalk's already gone. Right?
That's
so
crazy.
Lennox hates me for that.
Bro's trying to watch your video.
That's my hot take, right? Like, if you can hook grip your top set, and I've never missed on grip. I have never missed on grip, right? So if you can hook grip on your top set and it works and you don't miss, then strap the rest. Yeah. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
As long as you're not figure eighting fucking, all the way down at the base.
And your starting position is like.
Exactly. Then that's fine. Mixed grip. If you pull mixed grip though, never strap up.
Yeah.
If you pull mixed grip, only strap up if you tear your hand.
Yeah. So
or if you feel like it's about to tear,
Yeah.
and you have if you have comp in a week, and you know your calluses are about to go, maybe strap up just to save your hands.
So
a bit.
Go
home and shave and that's
especially the absolute load you're doing. I think that's dependent as well on what when and how you should use straps.
See, I don't pull mixed grip, so I don't have much experience there. I'd say.
Yeah. So you strap up for basically 80% of the work you do.
I'd say 95%. Dude,
wow.
I hook grip 1 set a week.
That's crazy.
I hook grip my 1 top set a week and all my warm ups. I hook grip my warm ups because my warm ups don't go more than 3 reps.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. But then when I get to my working set on,
I do think though, like you said, it is different for mixed grip.
Yeah. No, mixed grip.
Because hook grip's more of more of a technical. Like you're kind of jamming your thumb in between your fingers in the bar, and it's like a literal
you're not
object.
building any strength. You're just
it's definitely grip. Like you still got a grip, but it's less grip than mixed. I think it's not just about holding onto the bar completely.
My forearms, Lewis, I have no grip strength.
Yeah, no, I'd still say you have grip strength. You know what? We've got to bring the thing in next time. The grip thing.
Barely. That's my hot take. Yeah. Look. Yeah.
Always strap up is the hot take. Dude, I don't know if that's a good good thing we should be telling the audience. Yeah, but that's hook grip, and I think I think Noah actually asked this question, and for him, I think Noah, what we do with you is fine. He mixed grip as much as he can, but once he gets to those absolute loads, he's repping 270 plus. I'm like, dude, if your hands are cooked and he's about to tear shit, just strap up on your back offs if you need. But I feel like it's more of a problem with lifters that are doing high absolute loads. And lots of volume for you. But people like myself, I hook grip everything. I never strap.
Yeah.
I only strap my RDLs to focus on the hinge, and I think that's fine. But I always hook grip all of my deadlifts. And but I'll be doing 4 sets a week compared to you. You're doing 8, 10, whatever. But and I'll do sets of 5 and it'll kill, but I can they get
big hands.
I do have big thumbs. I do have big thumbs, long fingers, big hands. So I think that definitely works with me. But
here's the thing: if I do hook grip more than 1 set or 2 sets, back off work, if I do a set of 6, I instantly get a blister, a blood blister, and it just
see. But the absolute loads we're doing, you're doing heavier loads than me, but definitely now as well. But so that's gonna impact how much load you have through the actually on the thumb, and that's affecting the skin and the callus. Yeah.
But maybe I just haven't conditioned it as well. So
maybe.
Yeah.
But hey, you haven't dropped a deadlift in comp, have you? No. There you go. Well, then if it's working, then change it.
I felt 300, kind of start to go.
Again, that's 300 kilos on your thumb, man. It's no joke. And you haven't done it in training. No. Never done it in training on a stiff bar. Never.
No, that was my first one.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. I think what you're doing is working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
Hot take.
Cool, man. We've got a few more questions from some other legends, but we'll go through that next episode. So
next episode,
we'll wrap up this first episode of Titan Talk. Thank you so much, Michael, for coming on.
Thank you, Lewis.
And thank you to the listeners for tuning in. And we'll see you next time.
If you guys have any more feedback, suggestions, make sure just to drop it in Lewis's DMs or Titan Performance DMs.
Yes, shoot me a DM.
We'll probably put a story
up
each week, and you guys can drop questions and things you want to talk about, and then we'll go through those each week. Yeah,
so next week we'll get Mr. Lockie Allen on board. We'll have a chat to him, and then we'll get a few Q&As going for that. Perfect. But I'll roll these over.
Easy.
So, yeah, awesome.
Done.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.